danej głównej. Bro.
Human beings that I interacted with
In person?
Yeah, in person, that just sucked. They
Well-
just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who sucked.
What do you think happens when one of the most controversial and cynical figures on YouTube reevaluates their entire life? Why has he never talked about the things that happened in his childhood before? I'm Anthony Padilla, and I spent today with iDubbbz to find out. Hello, Ian.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what you were doing.
I know, it was either that I was going to attack you or I was going to shake your hand.
Right.
I'm glad you trusted me.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Visit betterhelp.com/Padilla because sometimes existing is exhausting. And if you want to watch this episode without all the censorship and completely ad-free, that means absolutely no sponsors, click the join button down below to become a member. Members are going to get a lot of really sick stuff very soon. Anyway, can you believe that you're one of the most controversial figures I've ever had on this show?
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, you've had furries.
I've had Mia Khalifa, who was kind of controversial in her own way. Flat earthers. I think you might be more controversial than flat earthers.
That could be.
Why are you so controversial?
Ah, man. I think it's like a lot of unregulated confidence.
You have unregulated confidence?
Yeah, I think I have in the past. I've toned it down a bit.
Is that a good thing?
Oh, yeah, of course. You got to pick and choose what you're confident about, right?
But you go through a filter process of this might be a dumb idea now?
Yeah, that's how the human brain works, I think.
Not everyone.
A healthy brain?
People commenting right now, some of them, they don't have the filter.
Yeah, but they should they should refine that filter. They should build upon it.
So when I first asked you to be on this show like a year ago, you said that you were in a transitional point in your YouTube career.
Yeah. Before, when you messaged me,
Yeah.
I was simply a keyboard warrior. I would record videos in my room primarily about other people.
Yeah.
I would be critical a lot of the time. That's where I guess, sort of got some of my notoriety from, because it's very easy to do. You just sit on your computer, you watch a ton of, am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah, cuss a ton, please.
Okay, cool.
If you
It's not
didn't,
going to be bleeped, though, is it?
It's going to be bleeped, but then there's going to be a version for members only that where it's
Sick,
unbleeped.
sick. Awesome, okay. I made a video about Keemstar, and it was very well-deserved criticism, and it was like no one was doing that. I was like, this guy's a complete asshole.
No one was criticizing Keemstar?
No.
I think everyone in the world has beef with him.
Oh, yeah, at this
I
point.
have beef with him.
At this point,
Yeah,
sure. But
everyone.
at the time, no one was doing it. I just got like fed up with it, and I was just like, I should make a video about this guy. And a lot of people, I think, for them, it was like relatable and also a little bit cathartic to be like, oh, finally, someone's talking about the shit that I've been seeing him do for the longest time. Like this, feels a little good. And I think it's valid. I think there's totally a place for it. I've sort of just personally, I think, outgrown it. And during that time, I was like, a year ago when you asked me, I was like, I'm doing this boxing match. I'm not going to be chatting shit at anyone, really. I'm just going to have to fight in the ring, put it all out there. And, we'll see what happens. That was sort of the transitional period. I was probably like more unhappy with my experience at the time making these types of videos because I didn't really have much like a community or like a friend group. I did have a friend group in the form of Max Mofo, Filthy Frank, Chad, How to Basic. Those guys were all great to hang out with and make videos with. And that was probably the most like fun part of my experience on YouTube was hanging out with those guys. And I would probably keep going in that path if not for us all living at different continents. I think generally it was just kind of like wanting a little bit more, something was a little bit more rewarding, fulfilling. So that's kind of why I like started to, move away from it.
You've said that anyone who focuses their entire career on a joke finds themselves wanting to fulfilling.
Totally.
What is the fulfilling?
I don't know, making things that are rewarding in more than one aspect. I really I've been enjoying making projects. Lately,
Right, yeah.
Arts and crafts. I made this like fidget toy.
Yeah.
That you pop zits out
Thanos'
of.
colorful zits?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was so much fun to do. I have a ton of other ideas like that, but it's not the reason people started following my channel. I think when I would make like a content cop video, for example, it would be like, a month of work or something like that. And I would grind on this video. I'd write, interesting points or whatever, write some sketches. It was just like anticipation for the day that I'm going to upload it. And I upload it. And for those 24 hours, it's like, oh, cool. There's a lot of comments. The video's circulating a lot.
It's like a dopamine rush.
Yeah, it's a big rush. It's a big hit.
Yeah.
You'll have other creators messaging you saying like, oh, this is so awesome. I've been wanting to have someone make a video about Keemstar for ages. That guy's such an asshole. And it feels good and rewarding for like 24, 48 hours. And then it's kind of like, all right, like that really didn't do much of anything. It's not like you impacted the world in any sort of way. You know,
Not a
Keemstar's
positive
still
way.
doing, what he's doing. It's just like entertainment. It's kind of like a similar impact to like bad reality TV, where it's like, that was entertaining.
But it's disposable.
Yeah.
In your joke police video, you said, "Hey, dumbass, you did something stupid in the past. You could be criticized for it." So do you welcome that same kind of?
Totally. Yeah. I think it's valid. Just like, I guess, like Keemstar, Jinx, or whoever I made videos about, you know, they're completely valid in saying, you know, like, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't like that Keemstar's ever said that.
That would be very
Yeah,
vulnerable.
but yeah, it would be nice if he did, for sure.
Have you felt the need to apologize?
There have been some moments where it was made very real to me that I am making an impact in the world, and it's not always positive. After the Fine Brothers situation with you know, them making React something, I sort of jumped on the bandwagon, and I regret doing it because I didn't really have much to contribute to the conversation. I don't know, it was in pretty bad taste. It was just like, you know, I was saying either the same shit that anyone else was saying, or just generally making fun of them. I'm sure it was entertaining for, you know, some people, so mission accomplished on that front. But when I go to VidCon and the Fine Bros are there, it's kind of like, yeah, hey man, no hard feelings, right? It's shitty.
I actually felt the need to apologize. Very popular creator that I talked
Oh.
recently.
Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, sure. There was, you know, the time period of 2017, 2018, where it was so popular to make videos criticizing people. So I spent a day with Jake Paulers, and I was like, I'm gonna bring in his fans and kind of ask them questions about why they like him. And, you know, I kind of got the point across where it was like they liked him because he was obnoxious, I guess, and they didn't really know why otherwise. And that was kind of the point of it. And I remember, you know, I released it, and I was kind of trying to prod a little bit. So I put this little clip on Twitter and tagged him in it. And my girlfriend at the time was like, "But what was the point of it?" I was like, "To show that I couldn't think of anything. People already talk shit.
Yeah.
What am I contributing to this?" He got super pissed about it, and he DM'd me and called me an imbecile, and he went on his brother's podcast, Logan's podcast, and pulled up the clip, and he talked shit about me back.
I don't want to just like be another like Anthony Padilla that was like on Smosh.
It's an angst of someone who once was becoming irrelevant and being angry that the new generation is being received more than themselves.
That was kind of a rush too. It was like, ooh, we're both talking shit about each other.
kind of a rush, too.
That kind of just sat with me for a while, where I was like, that really didn't feel that good. So I reached out to him recently, and I finally responded to him, and it's like 5 years later, and I was like, hey, sorry, you know, I was coming from a point where I was really lost. I had left Smosh. I didn't know what to do with myself and my career. And it was really popular to commentate and talk shit about people. You were just right there front and center of everyone talking shit about you. And I felt like, you know, that was my thing, was to contribute in that way. And he actually responded, and he was like, hey man, no hard feelings. I get it. You know, we can all grow from things that we did and said in our past. It was so amicable in a way. I felt like this release of tension that I didn't know I was holding in the back of my head, of this kind of guilt of just randomly punching down.
Yeah.
And overall, would highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. It makes a difference to be very vulnerable with people. And I think that's kind of like what maybe a lot of like commentary channels, that's certainly something that I was like having a hard time with, like being vulnerable. Even this like interview is like very, it's still difficult for me to do, because I'm like, I don't want to talk about my life, my personal life. That's less to do with, I would say it's just more of like a content strategy, or like being online strategy.
Do you think that came from talking shit about others? You didn't want to be a target yourself, and you didn't give them any ammunition.
Of course. And that made a huge difference. I would say that, a lot of the people who wanted to chat shit back, it's like, yeah, you can't really say too much. This interview is an example of that. It's like plenty of people can reference it and be like, oh, see, you said this here. What about that? And, I'm at the point in my life where I'm fine with it. Plenty of it is like, uh, well deserved. Like, if I'm going to put some negativity out in the world, like, very understandable that I would have it come back. Another thing that ended up kind of guiding the path a little bit, I did not like the interactions that I had with fans. There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with.
In person?
Yeah, in person, that just sucked. They just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who sucked. Some people were, as I described earlier, were very much like antisocial, weird basement dwellers. And, the one time a month that they come out of their cave is going to restock on supplies at Walmart, and they run into me, their favorite YouTuber.
Which is kind of the lifestyle you were living at the time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame them.
And what would they say? What would they do?
Things that I am certainly not going to repeat. I'm talking bad words, cringy behavior that, like, maybe I'd do in a video because I got a camera pointed at me. There'd be some of that energy matched in person, and it's like, oh, maybe not.
So when you were on camera doing it, you felt like it was for comedy, for entertainment?
Yeah, I mean, generally, yeah. And then, it's just antisocial, weird behavior. Surely you've had some fans, like, quoting Smosh shit.
Yeah, when they're like, shut up! And I'm like, bro, that was a lot.
I mean, that's pretty much all I'm talking about, but maybe change the word shut up to something worse. And then.
So words that we only say by describing the first letter?
Yeah, exactly. Man, what a powerful way of putting it.
But they would hear you ironically using language, and then they would throw it back at you unironically.
Yeah, after having enough of those experiences and being like, these are the people that I'm attracting, these are the people that I'm entertaining, like, I need to reevaluate things. They're relating and enjoying this content for a reason, and that's not maybe the same reason that I'm trying to make. I had a very Wild West mentality when it came to online behavior. Like, people are going to do what they want to do. People are going to say what they want to say. And I can pretty much do the same because it's the internet. But I think you have to be a lot more responsible.
I mean, I feel like sitting here with you now and seeing you've become, I mean, you feel like a different person. You feel like a different energy, for lack of a better term.
Oh, I'm a totally different person. all of the cells in my body have changed.
Don't they change every like 7 years?
Yeah. We're coming up on it.
Yo, you're a different person entirely.
Yeah. Yes, and my physique's different.
Oh yeah? You care to show off those guns?
We're not going to do that.
Oh, they're going to have to see the exclusive pay-per-view content of you boxing to know what the physique actually looks like under this very well-dressed man.
Oh, thank you.
Some people think that you getting married is what actually entirely changed.
No, I mean, I got married to Anissa, I want to say 5 years into our relationship. relationship. Anissa helped me with like a lot of the videos that I think the fans have appreciated the most.
Content cop.
Yeah, a lot of content cops, a lot of other random videos that I am still very proud of. Because I don't often talk about my personal life, I've sort of like disincluded Anissa in, I guess, a lot of the interviews and content that I've talked about over the years. To be honest, that's something that I definitely regret because she's the complete opposite. She's like open book. She'll stream and she'll talk about her entire day. I think a lot of people get angry or frustrated or they doubt her because they haven't heard it from me. But, you know, everything, like she's my partner. You know, everything that she says, like, you know, for the most part, I'm down with. I'm getting to the point where I'm like a lot more comfortable about it. And I think it does more good than harm to be more of an open book.
You've been very private with the details that you talked about publicly. Have you ever talked about your childhood? I feel like I haven't really seen much about, you know, how you became iDubbbz. Now I think is the perfect time to talk to you about today's sponsor, Honey, which is the easy way to save when you're shopping on your iPhone or your computer. It's a free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes, and it applies the best one that it finds to your cart automatically, so you no longer have to stare at that empty discount code box when you're at checkout, because if Honey finds a working coupon, a little Honey button drops down. All you have to do is click. And Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, ranging from tech to popular fashion brands and food delivery, so no matter what, set. For me personally, I know I'm gonna go order a ton of protein because I'm trying to get super buff and muscular and huge and ripped and buff. And Honey doesn't just work on desktops, it works on your iPhone too. Just activate it on Safari on your phone, save on the go. And it's literally free and installs in just a few seconds, so it's kind of ridiculous that you don't already have it. But if you want to do yourself a solid, also support this series, get PayPal Honey for free. Joinhoney.com. Joinhoney.com/Padilla. You know, I kind of think we should also spend the time right now to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this. Therapy has helped reframe my view of the world by allowing me to have empathy for my younger self. Therapy can be customized to whatever is right for you, and it can be useful in helping with motivation or feelings of depression, anxiety, stress, insecurity, or whatever else you. BetterHelp screens all their therapists to ensure that they have experience and that they're certified and licensed, and they provide customized therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone or even speak over the phone if that's not something you're comfortable with. One of the most difficult parts of getting into therapy for me was finding a therapist that I actually connected with, and the price of finding a therapist that I did connect with was overwhelming, which is why BetterHelp offers a more affordable alternative to in-person therapy, where you can start communicating with your therapist in less than 48 hours. So with all that said, I would love to thank BetterHelp for giving I Spent Today with viewers and listeners 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com. That's BetterHelp.com. That I did connect with. Now, back to the world of iDubbbz. Have you ever talked about your childhood? I feel like I haven't really seen much about, you know, how you became iDubbbz. So with all that said,
I grew up in Southern California. I have an older sister. I was raised by a single mother till I was 10. I made a lot of friends with like the weird kids. They were actually not weird. They were guys who were also raised by single mothers. They were a little bit more, I would say, that they just weren't assholes.
They had some sense of empathy.
Yeah, exactly.